God Ancestor, what did you see? The 4 clan leaders asked. The extraterritorial evil clan will certainly make a large-scale move within 100 years. For such questions, the God Ancestor naturally answered directly. 100 years that fast? Upon hearing this, the 4 clan leaders furrowed their brows. The last time the extraterritorial world swept in, they fought to a standstill with the Great Thousand Worlds. Now, they are coming again, and they must have made ample preparations. For the Great Thousand Worlds, this preparation could be deadly. Buzz. At that moment, a figure suddenly appeared on the massive stone pillar in front of the 4 clan leaders. The figure appeared somewhat emaciated, and every movement he made exuded the aura of millennia of history. There was no spiritual energy fluctuation from him, not because he was hiding it, but because at his level, spiritual energy, such a low-level force, was beneath him. Looking at the figure, the 4 clan leaders showed signs of joy, for they knew this person was the God Ancestor of the primordial divine clan. He had finally appeared. Greetings, God Ancestor. The 4 leaders of the primordial divine clan stood up and kneeled on one knee before the God Ancestor. Our time is limited. We must prepare early, the God Ancestor said, standing with his hands behind his back, his eyes penetrating all things as he gazed over the vast heavens and earth. I have seen the future of Xiao. In a few days, he will return to the Great Thousand Worlds. After that, he will spend nearly 2 years reconstructing a broken world. About 2.5 years from now, he will reach the peak of Earth Supreme. With his flame fusion art, he will be invincible below Heavenly Supreme, the God Ancestor stated. 2.5 years that fast? Hearing this, the 4 clan leaders were slightly shaken. As veterans, they understood better than anyone the vast gap between the early stage of Earth Supreme and the peak of Earth Supreme. They had originally estimated that even Xiao's extraordinary talent would take at least 10 years to achieve such a level. They never expected him to reach that realm in less than 3 years. Among the younger generation in the entire Great Thousand Worlds, only a dozen or so could reach Heavenly Supreme. So by this estimate, Xiao was indeed terrifying. So, what happens afterward? Qingyan asked curiously. Afterward, I can no longer perceive it, the God Ancestor replied. How is that possible? Upon hearing this, the 4 clan leaders were suddenly taken aback. For someone of the God Ancestor's level to be unable to perceive something, could Xiao truly surpass Heavenly Supreme in 2.5 years? Not exactly. What I mean is that I will be unable to perceive a certain period of time. This period will start around 2.5 years from now and last for about 3 years. Afterward, he will have truly become a Heavenly Supreme, the God Ancestor clarified. That's rather strange, Emo Kaluo remarked. All right, I called you here today just to explain these matters. What we do next depends on you, the God Ancestor said. You may leave now. With that, the God Ancestor waved his hand, and the enormous light screen in the sky disappeared. Yes. Hearing this, the 4 clan leaders stood up from the ground and prepared to leave. Although they were clan leaders, they were still not permitted to freely step into the sacred land. Qingyan, stay. Just as the 4 clan leaders were about to leave, the God Ancestor suddenly spoke, and Qingyan, slightly surprised, turned and stood still. The other 3 leaders had questions, but still left directly. The vast sacred land was now left with only Qingyan and the God Ancestor. God Ancestor, is there something else you wish to tell me? Qingyan asked. There is something I need to tell you, the God Ancestor said, suddenly showing a smile, which softened his previously serious demeanor. Your daughter Jing'er has been away from the clan for several years now, hasn't she? Hearing the God Ancestor's words, Qingyan's heart suddenly tightened. He realized that the God Ancestor must have already seen through everything about this matter. He had no choice but to tell the truth. I saw her cultivating day and night, so I secretly let her leave the clan. However, some of the elders are already searching for her. After saying this, Qingyan quickly added, God Ancestor, you know everything about the Great Thousand Worlds. Could you tell me where my daughter is? She's too playful and too clever. She even broke the divine soul lock I secretly set, and I think she's afraid of me tracking her. According to some information, she is constantly changing her location and spreading false news to confuse the elders of the clan. I can't tell you where she is, but it will be her location years from now, the God Ancestor said. Years from now, in the southern region of the Great Thousand Worlds, one of the 10 great supercontinents, the 10,000 Pill Continent. 10,000 Pill Continent. Isn't that where the Pill God Clan and the ancient myriad grass plains are located? Qing said. What is Jing'er doing there? She has been schemed against. Plotting? Who? Upon hearing this, Qing's expression changed immediately. Jing was his daughter, and someone scheming against her didn't sit well with him. However, he soon remembered that when Jing left the clan, she had already reached the true heavenly supreme realm. Who could possibly plot against her? It was the work of the extraterritorial demon ancestor, which prevented me from seeing the full sequence of events that will unfold in the coming years. But I do know that several heavenly emperors from the extraterritorial clans are involved, the divine ancestor explained. Extraterritorial? Demon ancestor? At this, Qing's anxiety finally grew. What kind of existence was the demon ancestor? It was a terrifying being on par with the divine ancestor before him. For such a powerful entity to target his daughter, it seemed that Jing was truly in grave danger. Please, divine ancestor, save Jing'er, Qing said, kneeling on one knee, pleading earnestly. Jing'er is a lovely girl. I won't let anything happen to her. But you must remember a few things, the divine ancestor replied. As long as you can save Jing'er, I, Qing, will do anything for the divine ancestor, Qing said without hesitation. First, within the next 3 years, you must not send anyone to the 10,000 Pill Continent to wait for Jing'er or the demon ancestor's heavenly emperors, the divine ancestor instructed. If you interfere with them, the situation will change entirely, and I won't be able to continue watching Jing'er's future. I understand, Qing hesitated for a moment, but eventually agreed. I've already placed a central mark on Jing'er. As long as she remains in the Great Thousand Worlds, she will never escape my tracking. Even if she leaves the Great Thousand Worlds, the mark cannot be erased, the divine ancestor continued. With a snap of his finger, a beam of light shot toward a mirror behind him. On the surface of the mirror appeared a small light spot, and the divine ancestor pointed to it. The mirror represents the Great Thousand Worlds, and the light spot is where Jing'er is now. If you're worried, you can come here to check. The second thing you need to remember is that in about 5 years, Jing'er will arrive on a mid-level continent in the Great Thousand Worlds called the 100 Spirit Continent. After about 7 years, you can tell the clan's elders her location, and they will go to bring her back. However, once they do, they will imprison her. Why? Qing asked. There are things that are too early to tell you now, but you must understand that this may be related to another ruler of the Great Thousand Worlds, the divine ancestor replied. Another ruler? Could it be the martial ancestor of the martial realm? Qing asked. No, the martial ancestor has nothing to do with this. But this other ruler, according to my predictions, none of us can be sure whether this will be a blessing or a curse for the primordial divine clan, the divine ancestor said. Besides the second thing, there's a third thing you need to know, although it may not seem very important. Qing kneeled and waited for the divine ancestor to reveal the third thing. The third thing is that, in a few years, it won't be me who saves Jing'er on the 10,000 Pill Continent, the divine ancestor said. Not you, divine ancestor? Qing froze in shock. If not the divine ancestor, then who could possibly save Qing from the terrifying demon ancestor? Could it be the ancestor of the 10,000 Spirits clan? But what the divine ancestor said next left Qing in disbelief. It's the person you saw earlier, Xiao. At the same time, far over 100 billion miles away in a lower realm, in the largest fragment of the Doqi world, all eyes were fixed on a lone figure in the sky. A man in a black robe stood in midair, and before him floated over a dozen massive black towers, each surrounded by golden fire dragons. One of the towers was thousands of meters tall, its shadow casting over a vast area below, engulfing the entire Forbidden Valley. The Do-Di powerhouses were all on edge, curious about how Xiao Yin would deal with the terrifying evil spirits. They may have doubted him before, but now they knew a bit more about his true identity. Xiao Yan's gaze was fixed on the black towers before him. The golden fire dragons rising from them numbered in the thousands, far more than the dozens he had obtained from the Venom Demon Emperor, and many times more powerful. The combined might of such flames would be enough to make even an Earth's supreme powerhouse wary. Sigh. Xiao Yin sighed helplessly. Such powerful treasures were right in front of him, yet he couldn't use them. Thinking of this, Xiao Yin waved his sleeve, and the terrifying power of the imperial flame, containing boundless fire energy, surged out. In full view of the heavens and earth, the imperial flame transformed into a massive wave that blotted out the sky, crashing toward the 10 or so black towers. The force was so overwhelming that even a super powerhouse of the heavenly emperor level shuddered in fear. As for the powerful beings from other races gathered outside the Xiao clan's territory, they were equally struck with terror by the scene in the sky. This man, who appeared so casual in his actions, truly unleashed a terrifying force when he decided to strike. The Black Earth Sovereign crushed the white jade token in his hand. Naturally, this did not escape Xiao Yan's sharp gaze. Just as Xiao Yin thought the Black Earth Sovereign was preparing some powerful technique, he saw that the shattered jade token turned into a tiny black light beam, piercing through the void and heading toward the edge of this Doqi plane. The strange sight made Xiao Yin pause for a moment. He finally understood. The Black Earth Sovereign was trying to use this object to summon other powerful beings from the extraterritorial evil clan. And the demons he could summon, their power was likely no weaker than his own. Swish! A blurry light and shadow appeared in Xiao Yan's hand, and then a phantom-like radiance spread from it, enveloping the entire world. Xiao Yin instantly gained complete control over the heavens and earth, and his finger pressed onto a point on the outer edge of the black light, where the black beam from the Black Earth Sovereign had pierced through the dimensional boundary. Something's wrong. Suddenly, Xiao Yin noticed something was off. His finger, which had been pressing on the dimension embryo, retracted, and he pressed toward a completely opposite direction from the black light. Buzz. However, Xiao Yin was still a step too late. Before his finger could touch the dimension embryo, a slight distortion occurred, and a white light pierced through, causing Xiao Yan's face to change slightly. He hadn't expected the black beam to be a decoy. The real beam was the barely visible white light. At this moment, that white light had likely already left the Doqi world, heading straight for the extraterritorial evil clan. Tisi. Xiao Yin hadn't expected the Black Earth Sovereign to hide such a trick, catching him completely off guard. Xiao Yin knew that the Black Earth Sovereign sending his message to the extraterritorial evil clan meant something very serious. It meant the evil clan could now locate this Doqi world and easily launch an invasion. Heh, didn't you want to kill me? On the vast sea of demonic energy, the Black Earth Sovereign looked at Xiao Yin, whose expression was grim, and sneered coldly. Though I am unwilling, at least I can take you and this whole world down with me. However, in response to the Black Earth Sovereign's words, a grim smile appeared on Xiao Yan's face, and his voice, filled with murderous intent, reverberated through the air. You think too much. Crash. As Xiao Yan's words fell, the imperial flame that had engulfed the heavens and earth surged once more, forming a massive and multicolored fire prison tens of thousands of feet high. The Black Earth Sovereign was directly trapped within it. You needn't worry about the future of this world. Worry about your own life first. Xiao Yan's icy voice rang out. He raised his hand slightly, and within the towering imperial flame, thousands of golden fire dragons shot out, charging into the fire prison. Thousands of refined flame golden dragons were more than enough to completely refine the current Black Earth Sovereign. However, facing the thousands of fiery golden dragons rushing toward him, the Black Earth Sovereign's expression remained calm. A strange fire energy began to rise around him. It was the hellfire that the Venom Demon Emperor had previously used. Xiao Yin wasn't surprised that the Black Earth Sovereign had summoned hellfire. He knew that even if the Black Earth Sovereign used the hellfire to elevate his power to its peak, he still wouldn't be a match for the Lord of this plane. Boom. The overwhelming demonic energy raged within the Imperial Flame prison, but it was continuously evaporated by the terrifying heat of the Imperial Flame. The speed of the demonic energy's spread could not match the speed of evaporation. In just a few breaths, the Black Earth Sovereign, who had been roaring fiercely, now had a grim expression. His power had reached the level of an Earth Supreme powerhouse from the Great Thousand Worlds, yet he couldn't even break free from Xiao Yan's Imperial Flame prison. The Lord of this plane was far more terrifying than he had imagined. High in the sky, Xiao Yan looked down expressionlessly at the Black Earth Sovereign. The fact that the Black Earth Sovereign had lasted 10 or so breaths under the Imperial Flame's confinement was somewhat unexpected. Xiao Yan, however, had no intention of delaying any longer. The clear-colored radiance enveloped the entire Doqi world, gradually shrinking in size. When the area shrank to a vast 10,000 zhang, the Imperial Flame prison and the Black Earth Sovereign were encompassed within it. Next, the light sphere continued to shrink, compressing both the Imperial Flame prison and itself. Everyone in the world held their breath, knowing they were witnessing a scene they might never see again in their lifetime. The clear light sphere kept shrinking, and in just a dozen breaths, it had been reduced to less than 10 zhang in size. Inside it, the Black Earth Sovereign was still relentlessly attacking the barrier of the light sphere. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't shake the sphere, which was under the control of both heaven and earth. Whoosh! The light sphere shrank even further, until it was no larger than the size of a palm, suspended in Xiao Yan's hand. At this moment, within the sphere, only a wisp of black smoke could be seen, the form taken by the Black Earth Sovereign trapped inside. Brat! Dare to oppose my extraterritorial race, you shall be trampled underfoot. Though the Black Earth Sovereign's figure had disappeared from the light sphere, his voice still echoed. It was clear how resilient the life force of these evil beings was. I promised the Dragon Emperor to protect this dimension. No matter who dares to invade, they will never return. Xiao Yan, expressionless, flicked his fingers, causing thousands of refining flames to return to his body. The Imperial Flame, however, exploded with brilliance, lighting up a radius of 1,000,000 miles. When the light faded, the Black Earth Sovereign's presence had completely dissipated into the world. However, just as Xiao Yan eradicated the Black Earth Sovereign, his brow furrowed. He suddenly felt a terrifying demonic energy approaching the Doqi world at an alarming speed. This power had far surpassed the early stage of Earth Supreme,